So today we're going to do the handover video on the Burstner Nexxo T660. We're going to start on the outside and then we're going to move on to the inside. So firstly, coming over to the passenger side, you can see that you've got your fill-up point. In here is your diesel fill-up point, just on the passenger side. And opening up the passenger door, you can see that you've got Remis cab blinds fitted to this vehicle. To operate these, all you've got to do is simply pinch the plastic tab, pull the Remis cab blind out like so, leading from the bottom, and that'll connect up via the magnetic strip. You've also got the bonnet release catch on this side of the vehicle. Pull that to release the bonnet. Slide that into position, let that connect up, and that is good to go. Moving underneath the bonnet, there's not many things that you need to know underneath here. The main thing that you need to know is if you're ever jump starting the vehicle. If that is the case, I'll point you them things out now. It's quite difficult to see on the video due to the lighting. But to jump start the vehicle, you've got your negative terminal onto this little point here, underneath the yellow sticker. And your positive terminal is just located in the engine bay, just underneath here. It's quite difficult, as I say, to see with the light, but there is a point right underneath here, underneath the cap, which is a plus sign on there, just to indicate that is where you need to jump start the vehicle from. To point out a couple more things, you can see that you've got your brake disc fluid, which is next, your engine coolant, and then in the corner, you've got your washer fluid as well. Moving over to the side of the vehicle, you can see that you get your habitation door here, along with your awning up at the top. If it is a windy day, don't use your awning. Do remember to take that back in. Coming over to the side of the vehicle, you can see that you've got your fridge vents. If it is a very hot, sunny day, what I personally say is turn the vehicle around so you've not got any heat or limited heat from affecting the vehicle, as that will allow the fridge to run more efficiently. Next, you've then got your storage locker. So you're clicking this in, like so, will release the mechanism, and as you can see, it gives you access to your gas locker. With regards to your gas locker, you need to ensure that when travelling, the gas is always turned off for safety reasons, but when stationary, you can of course turn your gas on using the pigtail and the top of the bottle. That will therefore allow the gas to feed through. At the back, you've then got another point, access point for storage, as you can see. And in the back here, you've got your cushions for your dinette to berth kit, which makes up the front bed, along with your tyre inflation kit and the vehicle's manuals, etc. You can see you've got an awning pole as well at the back, and it is worth knowing that the entire garage is fully heated and insulated. At the back, on this vehicle, you've got a tow bar, you've also got a bike rack, and right at the top, you've got your reversing camera as well. Moving around to the vehicle, you can see that you've got your cassette toilet here. To open that up, simply push in the two buttons, and that will open and expose the cassette. The main thing that you need to know is that the cassette, or the blade on the cassette rather, is always closed before removing the cassette. Once doing that, simply pull up on the tab and slide out like so. It's dead easy and simple to empty the system. All you've got to do is simply pull the funnel out like so, remove the cap, and then on the back of the cassette, as you can see, you have a green button which will release an internal vacuum, allowing you to therefore empty the entire system. You will notice that you've got this green point here which turns. That should always remain in that position there to ensure that it can slide in and out easily. Once done, slide in the funnel and let that connect in like so. Moving on, you can see that you've got your first drain down point, which is indicated by this sticker. This is for the wastewater drain down point. Now you have 3 drain down points in the vehicle. You've one for your wastewater, one for your fresh water, and one for your boiler drain down point. As you can see, the one for your wastewater is indicated here. And using the little bar here, that connects onto there, and you can turn that and that will empty the entire system. When you're on site, you've got a big grid, drive over that, and that will empty and dump all the water into that grid. And what we say is with all your drain down points, you can leave them open because you're just travelling down the road, all that vibration will get all that water out of the system. Next, you've got your Truma vent, as you can see. This does get hot, so please bear in mind not to lean on this or to hang anything on it. And then next to that, you've got your convenience locker. Your convenience locker in the Burstner is where your main drain down points are held, as well as your fill up points for your fresh water tank. And it's all kept in one place, hence its name, the convenience locker. To open it, simply stick your key in and turn it. In here you've got a 120 litre water tank, as you can see, which to fill up, all you need to do is remove the cap using a food grade hose pipe. That will simply go into the top of the tank and fill up the entire system. You've then got a red lever here which does remove, and that will gain you access into the fresh water tank. Below you've got a flap here which will allow your 230 volt mains electric to connect up to your point of the vehicle, giving you power. And then at the back here, again it's quite difficult to see because of the light, but you've got your drain down points. One's for your boiler and one is for everything beyond the boiler. This one is for the boiler, which is the black frost protection valve here. To close that, you need to turn it so the diamond goes on the inside and press the blue button in. That will close and seal the system so you can use it. To empty it, all you need to do is turn that and that will open it up and empty the entire system. This does react to temperature, so if it does get to a certain temperature, the blue button may not push in. With that in mind, you need to go on the inside of the vehicle and run your heating just to warm that area up. As I mentioned, the valve on the end over there is for everything beyond, for the boiler beyond. That is in the open position at the moment. To close that, simply flick that down like so. Dead easy and dead simple. So that's your boiler drain down points explained. Your wastewater we've explained. Your fresh water is the final drain down point that we need to talk through. And to empty that, all you need to do is simply turn this valve, as you can see, and that will drain down the system. Now there's a little lug in here, so if you keep turning that, you'll hear a little twing. Once you've got to that lug, that will drain the entire system down to 20 litres, as you can see, as indicated on the sticker. That is a quick drain down point, so if you're travelling with water, and the manufacturer recommend that you carry 20 litres. So with that in mind, you can turn that valve, and once you hit that lug, just leave it as it is. If you want to drain down the entire thing, just keep turning the knob past that lug, and that will drain the entire system down. Once moving off site, you need to make sure that everything is locked up. So check that your windows are shut, your lockers are shut, and your skylights on the top of the vehicle are shut as well. Now that concludes the outside. We're now going to move on to the inside. On the inside, you can see that you've got a control panel straight above the habitation door. To turn that on and off, simply click this button here. You can see that it does keep your porch lights on. They can turn on and off using these two buttons down here. To turn the control panel on, simply turn that on like so. So click the 12 volt, and that will activate your lights on the inside of the vehicle. You've got your vehicle battery level, as you can see. You've then got your vehicle battery level. On this side, you've got your freshwater level. We're empty at the moment, and then your wastewater level. Again, we're empty, as you can see. And if we were hooked up, you get a green light, or an amber light rather, on here just to indicate that we're hooked up. Now, as you can see, you've then got a pump button here, and this is what you need to select when you're priming the system. When on site, you need to of course, fill up the system with water and click your pump on, which will activate the pump. Once that's done, you can go to your taps along with your shower and turn them on and turn them to hot. That'll pull fresh water from the water tank into the boiler and then out of the tap. Once you've done that, you're good to go and once it's running steadily, you've primed your system for the hot water. You then need to flick it on cold and do the exact same. So it's dead easy, dead simple. Once that's running steadily, you've primed your system. Now, once it is running steadily, you can leave the pump on, because on each of your taps you have an isolation valve, or not an isolation valve, rather a micro switch, which will activate and deactivate the pump whenever you need it, so you don't have to worry about it burning out. The only time you need to be worried about burning out the pump is if you've not got any water in the system at all. You should only run the pump if you've got water in the vehicle. Moving into the lounge, you can see that you've got 2 travelling seats here. The seat belts just tucked below, along with storage all above, as you can see. In the back here, or underneath the seat, you've got your leisure battery, which is located underneath the bench seat, as well as a bit of storage in here. Coming to the back, you've got your kitchen area, you've got your hob here and your sink. We've spoken obviously about priming your system. Your oven and grill is just below, as you can see, along with a little bit of storage as well. Inside your cutlery drawer, you'll notice that you've got these red taps. These are isolation taps, and you need to ensure that these are always in this position here. They should never be turned. They're only for technicians who are working on the vehicle. Opposite the kitchen, you've got your fridge. This is a Dometic fridge. It's dead easy and dead simple to use. It's a 3-way system, so you can run it off. There's 3 methods of running it in essence. So you can either run it off electric, which is this symbol here, gas, which is this little flame symbol, and 12 volt, which is the battery. I personally recommend having it on A, because that will automatically assign whatever fuel you've got to run the fridge off. You've then got your temperature button here, and then a reset button here should you need to reset the fridge. If you're wild camping, you'll run it off your gas. If you're travelling, you'll run it off your 12 volt, and if you're on site, you run it off the 230 volt electric. To turn it on and off, just click this button here, and then you're good to go. Your freezer rail is up at the top, and your fridge is below. You've got a bit more storage underneath the fridge as well, as you can see. And whilst we're at the bed, you can see we've got a bit more storage here as well, just through there. Again, it's quite difficult to see in this lighting, but there's some more storage underneath there. So moving into the bedroom area, you can see that you've got your control panel for your trimmer heating. This is dead simple and dead easy. To operate it, everything below the line is what you want to select. So firstly, you've got your vehicle's temperature, which you can turn to 30. You've then got your water temperature. You can either have it on 40, 60 or boost, depending on how much you're wanting. Boost will, in essence, concentrate on heating the water. So instead of actually heating the vehicle's temperature, you'll concentrate on heating the water. And coming back, you've then got your fuel, so you can either run it off EL2, which is 2 kilowatt electric, EL1, which is 1 kilowatt electric, Mix 2, which is a mixture of gas and 2 kilowatt electric, Mix 1, which is a mixture of gas and 1 kilowatt electric, and purely gas for when you're wild camping. You've then got your fan button, so you can either have that on boost, and this is for the vehicle's heater. So as I mentioned about the fresh water, the water heater, you can of course run it off. It works vice versa rather. So if you want to boost and focus the heater's energy and power on heating the vehicle, you can run that off boost. Going back into it, you can then select between high or eco mode, depending on how intense you want that fan to be. Now at the bottom, you can set a timer should you want to. You can then change the time as well on the panel. And then you've got a settings panel. The main thing that you need to know in here is the reset button, as you can see. The main reason that you need to reset it is if you get an error code, as you can see, a warning triangle on the panel. And that happens when you've selected the wrong fuel for the vehicle. Now, as you can see, I've selected the wrong fuel. You can see you've got an error code here. So to get that sorted, you need to click that to in essence rectify and get rid of that code. All you need to do is simply go into the settings, click reset, click preset, and as you can see it says initializing. The screen will flicker, and once it's flickering it'll take a minute to get sorted, and then you're good to go. It's reset. You need to wait approximately 20 minutes after that. You can see it's just removed that code now. 20 minutes until you can use the system again. Below that you've got some light switches along with some hanging storage as well. And in here, this vehicle has been fitted with an aerial. For your aerial, to turn it on, you've got a little button at the back here, which will turn on and off the aerial. As you can see at the moment, the light is shining amber, which indicates that the signal isn't going to be the best. When it's lighting green, you're good to go. To operate the aerial, all you need to do is unscrew this white cap here, push the pole up like so, and then tighten that into position, as you can see, and that will maximise and improve range. You have also got this little arm on the bottom of the aerial to tilt the head of the aerial should you want to. It's dead simple, dead easy. To drop that down, all you've got to do is loosen that off, pull the pole down, tighten that into position. And this is one of those things that you need to ensure it is down and ready to use when driving off site. Now finally, in the back of the vehicle, you can see that you've got your toilet cassette. Your toilet cassette is at the back, and to open and close the cassette you've got this blade here. So that's open and away from you is closed. When using this, you need to open the cassette so all the waste can drop into the cassette. Once you've done that, click the blue button which will flush the system, and then you can simply pull that back and then you're good to go. You close the blade for two reasons. The main reason being is it stops any odours from escaping, and the second reason being is it gets you into the habit of that cassette being closed, so when you remove it, it doesn't get jammed or anything like that. Now coming over to here, your blue button activates your flush. It's worth noticing that you need your pump on for that to activate, so just bear that in mind. And at the top, again, you have a bit of storage, as you can see. So it's dead easy, dead simple. We've spoken obviously about priming your system for the tap. And the same goes for the shower as well. Just above the bed, you have some more storage as well as some lights at the back. And facing forward, you can see you've got the same again. Now that concludes the handover video on the Nexxo. I hope you enjoyed.